Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for so much for being here. Most of us have been together all morning, so you know who I am. But in case there's a few new people, I am Andrew Sund. I'm the president of Heritage University, and I'd like to welcome you to our official signing of our Land Acknowledgement Statement. It's our Land Acknowledgement Proclamation. First of all, I would like to recognize all the leaders that are here, especially the tribal council members that are here and general council members. And if I could mention Chairman Saluski, thank you for being here today. And I believe representing the Education Committee, we also have Charlene Tilliquats here today. So thank you for being here with us. And I recognize the rest of you, even if I don't mention your name. Thank you so much. This is a very important day for us at Heritage University. Over the years, we've had land acknowledgement statements at Heritage, but they've never been consistent. Sometimes we use them, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we change the words. Different people say different things. And we believed it was important to have a consistent message of land acknowledgement at our university. And that's why we embarked on this project that's been fulfilled and that we are officially signing today. And we do this, and I'm going to be very brief because it's been a long day for many of us, but we do this because we truly want to recognize and respect the privilege that it is for us to have a university in this land. We recognize that we are in the Yakama Nation and what that means in terms of location, what it means in terms of history. The history of this nation is very important to us. So we wanted to really honor that through a consistent statement, and you will hear a little more about how we arrived at that statement in a way that it's very meaningful. And in a way, I like to say, if I could be so bold, that it's not that we are just grateful to be in this land. We believe that Heritage University is part of this nation. We are part of the Yakama Nation as an institution, and we want to acknowledge that through this statement. We were created with the purpose of bringing higher education to this land, and we honor that through this statement. As I said earlier today, we know that education has been part of the Yakama Nation from time immemorial. We celebrated our elders a little bit earlier today because they are part of the educational systems that exist within the Yakama Nation. But we wanted to bring higher education as a complement, as something additional to the education that already exists in the nation. And for that purpose, we could bring more opportunities to the people of this land. And in that way, we believe we are part of the land too. So I'd like to once again welcome you. Thank you for being here and for believing in us as an institution to be in your land. And I would like to introduce Professor Dr. Saul Neely, who is a professor of English here at Heritage University, who was part of a team, who's not alone, part of a team that worked on developing a land acknowledgement statement, and he will explain a little bit about the process and why we thought of this process, because it is very, very important work in our institution. So once again, thank you very much, and let's welcome Professor Neely.
Sionagata Tueja Chalagi Gadi Soli Dagwadoa Sol Nili Dagwadoa Yonega Gadi Chichalagi Ulihelisti Osta Sunalei. Wow. Hello everyone. It's good to be with you this morning. I wanted to introduce myself and welcome you in my traditional language. I'm a citizen of the Cherokee Nation. I always am hesitant to speak my traditional language on the sovereign lands of another tribal nation, but today has been a day of welcoming and reconciliation and rich cultural heritage. I want to speak today about the process as a citizen of the Cherokee Nation first, and then as an associate professor of English and director of composition second. And it's not because it's a slight against Heritage University, but it's that I understand the struggles that sovereign tribal nations go through to preserve our culture and our heritage, and the historical role that educational systems have played in trying to destroy that. I think about the word university, and it comes from the word universe, universal. And the presumption historically from the university, as it's come to us out of medieval Europe and shaped by the Enlightenment and colonialism, is that the whole world can be accounted for in terms of the university. And so historically, as the university has encountered tribal communities, they have endeavored to research our histories, our cultures, our languages, even our futures, and then teach it all without us, all without us. And what that means to me is that historically, the university sees tribal communities as a moment within the university, as a moment within that framework of knowledge. But we know that historically, politically, and morally, Heritage University is a moment within the history of this great tribal nation, the Yakama Nation. So it's a real honor to be here and talk about this process that we developed, because it was from the beginning an indigenous-led endeavor. The story goes is that Dr. Maxine Janice was on sabbatical in fall 2020, and when she returned to campus, there was all this talk about land acknowledgements. And it was a little bit scattered and not quite organized. And so she convened a committee that consisted of Dr. Winona Wynn, Tualatin, Greg Sutterlick, Elise Washeen, Maxine Janice, and myself. And we received a draft of a land acknowledgement statement, 3 versions of this draft. And when we convened to talk about it and to copy edit it, I had drafted a set of action items that I wanted to bring to the table as a starting dialogue for how to frame and how to enact this land acknowledgement statement. Because I've been doing a lot of work with other universities, the Monterey Institute of International Studies, the Middlebury Institute of International Studies at Monterey, the University of Mount Union in Ohio, University of North Carolina at Asheville with the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, and then the university I just came from, University of Alaska Southeast. And the one important aspect about the land acknowledgement statement is that it must go beyond simply speaking healing words, that it has to carry with it some weight, some real political processing. And so I brought this set of action items to the committee, and we workshopped it. It was a really good conversation that we had. And when we had it finalized and we all agreed on it, I think it took us a couple of different meetings to really fine-tune these action items. Then Maxine and I took it to Kip Ramsey and his wife, who graciously took us in, had us over for dinner one night, and we spent about 4 hours geeking out on conversation about sovereignty, which was really fun. And after we got that approval, then we brought it to the Tribal Relations Committee, the Heritage University Board of Directors Tribal Relations Committee meeting that met over here, and we had some good conversation about how to bring it forward to the Tribal Relations, or to the Yakama Nation Tribal Council. And when we agreed on that, we took it in August to the Yakama Nation Tribal Relations Committee, where we had another just really rich conversation and dialogue, and really connected with Tribal Council and Heritage University that day. One of the important aspects of this document is to understand that it is a living document. And as a living document, it's open to revision, it's in a state of becoming, and I like to think that it inspires us, because as awesome as Heritage University is, it still has some genealogy in that colonial university model. And so we may not be perfect, But this land acknowledgement statement and the framing documents attached to it inspire us to continue toward endeavoring toward decolonial justice. And I really love that word inspire because I think about it in its literal aspects of respiration, to breathe in and to breathe out. We breathe in into inspiration, we breathe out into exhaustion, and that's just the honest cadence of our lives. And so when we think about the Land Acknowledgement Statement as a living document, it's one that aims to inspire us in our most deep moments of exhaustion. And that's exactly what I found today with the Honoring Elders breakfast, is that deep kind of inspiration. And so that's where we are today, and I can tell you that some of those action items that we brought forward with the Land Acknowledgement Statement are already at work. We're already following through on them. We start every event with a Land Acknowledgement Statement. The Faculty Senate just convened an ad hoc committee on supporting indigenous students. And so there's a number of things we've already put into place because of this Land Acknowledgement Statement. So I'll leave it at that and say, Wadona God.
So what we're doing is having signatures from Dr. Sun and Mr. Ramsey acknowledging the homelands of the Yakama Nation and the work that we do, and passing this document on to Chairman Saluskin and General Council Chairman Roger Fyander. Following that, we will have Chairman Saluskin and General Council Chairman Fyander offer some remarks. And then we'll close with our famous relatives, Black Lodge singers, to put forward a song acknowledging this event, this momentous event.
Well, we're done with the signing. It's important to mention this big proclamation is both in English and Ishishkin.
The document is in both English and Ichishkin.
Just happy to be here today on this auspicious occasion, I guess. But when this document was being explained, I heard words about a living document. The Treaty of the Yakamas, although it wasn't authored by Yakamas, is a living document. It's alive today. The Constitution of the United States is a living document. It's alive today. This Land Acknowledgement Statement is a living document. It's alive today. It lives on beyond our time. This morning in the ceremony in there, when we were honoring the elders, I was honored quite a few years ago the same way, but it made me remember one of the speakers talked about what the grandparents said. And my grandmother used to call us into her bedroom and tell us who her people were, where she came from, and never to forget who we are. And I was thinking about those people today, and I was thinking about being General Council Chairman of the Yakama Nation. And that's why she was telling me those things, because I had an obligation. I had responsibility, and she knew that way before I did. And then I was thinking about Kip and him being in a position at this university. And I remembered years ago when I got out of the service and I was working for Kip and we were talking about school, and he said the only class that he liked was shop. So we make some transitions in our life. You know, we never know what the future holds, and that's what I thought about when my grandma was talking to me. She knew, but she didn't know, and I didn't know, because I was a wild, reckless kind of a guy. I didn't care about too many things, but where I was going to get the next gratification or something like that. When that was in about 66 and 67. When I came back from Vietnam, I thought I was Superman. Nothing could hurt me. And I didn't need to learn anything. About 1969, I thought I better start getting an education. So I went to IBC and started, and I said, hey, this ain't too hard. So I went on, but I'm not a college graduate. I was in my junior year, and the tribe was going to do something and fight with the state of Washington, and so I said, that's me. I'm in, because I know how to do what you're talking about doing. And so here we are. But I'm honored to be a part of this, and I think it's a huge step. It's a huge step, because when you talk about this land, you acknowledge that, and the land of the Yakamas wasn't what you call the reservation proper. It was all that land that was ceded by the Yakamas. And so I could go on and on, but I just wanted to say, Kwasanu, thank you.
Well, again, I want to be appreciative of Heritage University for stepping up to honor our treaty. In that treaty, it talks about education. And so today we get to see that, we get to feel it, we get to enjoy it. But at the same time, I want to recognize, since tomorrow is Veterans Day, I want to recognize all those who have served our country, to make this available for us today, what we're acknowledging and respecting. Our people have always been willing to stand up and fight for this land that we're on today. I was thinking about this today. The season has changed. We've gone from summer to fall. We're getting close to winter. This land acknowledgement is a recognition of the change in the perception and attitude of our non-Indian neighbors. We didn't have to have a land acknowledgement to know that this was our land. We never needed that in the past. We always knew that. It has been the mission of many of our governments and our neighbors. We're going to separate the Indian from this land. We're going to make them equal to us. But we're still here today. We're still enjoying what our elders set aside for us. Thinking about this land acknowledgement, when I was first graduated from college, I started attending General Council. We had a General Council chairman, and he always used to talk about, we're the landlords of the land. We're the original landowners, but look at us today. And I think that got lost, that message gets lost, that we are the original landowners. It has to be put down in writing, like we're acknowledging today, that this land acknowledgement acknowledges that we are the original landlords of the land. And so this is going to go beyond today. It's an acknowledgement of our past. It represents who we are today. And this land acknowledgement is going to represent our children into the future. So I just want to say thank you, Heritage University, for stepping up and doing what you can to make sure that after you're gone, after we're gone, that message still carries forward. So I thank the Heritage University today for everything that you've done. Night.